As I go through and find all the games I'm interested in from this year's E3, my JRPG calendar is in shambles. The amount of JRPGs announced, given release dates and shown at E3 was surprisingly great, considering I'm someone who puts most of my expectations on TGS for JRPG stuff. But as I sift through everything coming out in the next year or so announced at E3, it's clear to see this year's conference did a good job of giving players of all types something to be excited about. So while there are so many announcements I could talk about, I want to share the ones I'm most interested in, which there are still a lot of. So with another E3 done and gone, these are the many JRPG releases and announcements that excited me this year. With release dates, announcements, a gameplay presentation, and Tifa, Final Fantasy had plenty of time to shine this year during E3 thanks to its big upcoming releases, with Square Enix coming out with a lot of crowd pleases during the event. The main event for Square's Final Fantasy announcements was Final Fantasy VII Remake, which showed the previously quiet title and the kind of detail that fans have been wanting to see for a while to actually learn what this game is. And this was done through a cool gameplay presentation that detailed the game's interesting blend of Final Fantasy combat systems in this remake, along with revealing another beautiful realization of one of the game's iconic characters as they showed Tifa's updated character design in a new extended trailer, and the crowd reactions were a great reflection of just how much there is to be excited about. It was nice to finally see a bigger trailer for the 7 remake, and I'm naturally still really excited to experience this story in such a visually gorgeous form, as it'll be my first time playing Final Fantasy VII at all. But what had me even more excited was the way they detailed the gameplay, with the combat system reminding me of others I've liked while still being very unique. The new system seems to take the good points of other Final Fantasies, with it having the quick active feeling of 15 system, a stagger mode that reminded me of Final Fantasy XIII, and a tactical mode bringing in the more traditional style of Final Fantasy, bringing in magic and other moves to make the 7 remake system its own interesting hybrid. In contrast to more recent Final Fantasies, this looks like a more complex action system, which is nice to see. So with more tactics to use and the system encouraging switching between characters that perform differently, the modern system looks like a lot of fun so far, and I look forward to trying it in the future. It's also nice to know when that future will be, with Final Fantasy VII Remake at long last given a release date for March 3rd next year. Just having a release date at all feels good, as it feels like this experience is finally set in stone as something we'll see in this lifetime. And with its beautiful graphics and interesting looking battle system, this is something I can't wait to try, and I look forward to hearing even more about it before its 2020 release. In other exciting news about old games becoming new again, it was announced that Final Fantasy VIII will be receiving a remaster for Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Steam sometime this year. Ever since Nintendo Direct last year where they announced Final Fantasy VII, 9, and 10 coming to Switch with 8 nowhere to be seen, I was hoping to see it at least get ported to Switch as I need an excuse to finish it. So having it in a visually nicer form will make revisiting this game even better, especially when comparing its old and remastered versions, and honestly, it'll just be nice to have all those Final Fantasy games together on Switch as they should be. So far, it's only being given a window of 2019, but I'm crossing my fingers that it's during a not too crowded time, as I would really like to actually finish it. So this is one I'm looking forward to seeing in its new, smoother form later this year. The last Final Fantasy game that caught my interest at E3 was War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, a tactical take on Brave Exvius inspired by Final Fantasy Tactics that is set to expand on the Exvius universe and looks like it'll give more lore to the world. Brave Exvius is a Final Fantasy smartphone title I've tried and wish I had more time to play more of its story. So War of the Visions seems right up my alley with what looks to be a deeper world, apparently with fully voiced dialogue, which is nice, and with how good it actually looks, I was a little surprised to see that this was still a smartphone title at the end of the trailer. So even though it's supposed to still have gacha mechanics like the original, this is something I'd be interested in trying, and although not everyone will want to try it as it is a smartphone title, I hope it's as good as it looks and hope it makes a good quality game to play on smartphones. While it was leaked before its announcement at E3, Tales of Arise was officially revealed during Xbox's conference with a gorgeous trailer that really displays the graphic update to the series. The story is set to tell the tale of people from 2 different planets and the truth and lies of their worlds, and some of its visual cues reminded me a little of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in a way that had me excited, although I'm sure their stories will be quite different just based on the premise. If the trailer is anything to go off, the game looks beautiful, and with more information about its characters characters coming out since E3, this game looks like it'll tell an interesting story of its two characters' fight for freedom from their worlds that I can't wait to learn more about. While it was announced during Xbox's conference, Tales of Arise will come to PS4, Xbox One, and Steam when it launches next year. So since I haven't had a chance to get more into Tales of Exvius since playing 10 hours of it and then kind of falling out of it, with how beautiful Arise looks, I hope to make it my first proper dive into a Tales game, and its gorgeous looking new graphics make it one to watch. We've all known about Dragon Quest XI-S coming to Switch for a little while now, but at E3 we got to get a deeper look at some of its features, particularly its new retro mode during its trailer and Nintendo Treehouse. Most of its S trailer for me was a big nostalgia fest for the great game that was Dragon Quest XI that got me hyped up to play through it all over again, especially with an orchestral soundtrack finally in-game, along with many other small features that look like they'll add to the world. And I really liked seeing some of its story moments reimagined in the retro style. The retro mode was explored much more in Nintendo Treehouse and showed how pretty the sprite graphics look in town, and also how you can visit worlds from old Dragon Quest games made specifically in 2D for Dragon Quest XI, and with extra fights and quests that sound like they would be fun to do post-game, along with the extra main story content and the original post-game content that I still need to play. There are plenty of things to be enjoyed in this S version, and it really sounds like it's becoming the definitive version of this title, which is a bit of a bummer for my original PS4 purchase, but it also looks so good that I really don't mind that much. Dragon Quest XI-S will be out in the crowded month of September on the 27th, and regardless of if I get to it at launch or not, it's definitely something I'd be happy to play again in this content-rich form. And speaking of extra content, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will also be getting a bit of Dragon Quest XI as well, with the hero of Dragon Quest XI being the next fighter to come to the game as part of the Fighter's Pass, which I still need to get for Joker as well. Since Dragon Quest XI's nameable protagonist is being called Hero in Smash, it looks like they decided to make other Dragon Quest heroes available to be used with this character as well, with lots of faithful moves inspired by Dragon Quest battle system and world, making this look like another great Smash edition that's been made with the kind of love and care that really make me respect this game. The Smash DLC for the hero is currently scheduled for summer this year as both standalone and as part of the Fighter's Pass, and is a worthwhile addition that makes this already good season pass even better, and for some reason was the E3 announcement that made me shout for joy most. So I'm looking forward to trying this one and seeing how Dragon Quest fits into Smash's character-filled world, and I especially can't wait to put Joker and the hero head-to-head sometime. During E3, a trailer for Persona 5 Royal was released that some of you might have already seen like I had if you've been keeping up with the Japanese trailers. This time though, the trailer was with English voices that reveal the voices of the new character Kasumi and the new school counselor Confidant. These being Laura Post, who beautifully voiced Primrose from Octopath Traveler voicing Kasumi, and Billy Kometz voicing school counselor Takuto. I love this trailer already, but to hear it with the new English voices and the ones reprising their roles with emotive voice acting giving context to all the new features gave me even more excitement as well, and I'm even more intrigued to see the role Kasumi will play in the story. Persona 5 Royal will be coming to the West in 2020 and to Japan in late October, and with this beautiful trailer and the great voices for characters we know and love, it's safe to say Persona 5 Royal is still looking like a good excuse to play Persona 5 again, and this re-release can't come soon enough. If you're looking forward to Fire Emblem Three Houses, E3 was pretty good, as it was another game that we saw plenty of gameplay for thanks to Nintendo Treehouse. This Treehouse event showed off lots of gameplay, including a school system for giving lessons and teaching classes, and giving exams to learn new ones, and also showed off its bigger world and the battle system that have clearly been modernized for this new entry. What particularly caught my eye as soon as I watched the Treehouse presentation was just how big the world feels compared to the last Fire Emblem I played, which was Awakening, and the look of being able to run around and interact with students directly, along with the many things you can do to raise stats with them, makes this game look like it's really deep. The deepness continues in battle, with Fire Emblem's already complex system looking much more modern and having cool features like being able to rewind your turn in battle and use special attacks, making it look like an even better version of an already great battle system. Fire Emblem Three Houses will be out on Switch on July 26th, and I highly recommend watching the Nintendo Treehouse to see all of its great features coming to this game, because with how great it looks, it's quickly becoming one of the games I'm most excited for this year, so I'm really glad we'll be able to play it fairly soon. Another example of a game previously on 3DS looking better than ever on Switch is Pokémon Sword and Shield, which also received a Nintendo Treehouse event detailing its world and some of its social features. The Treehouse event mostly stayed in the wild, but that's okay since it showed off the clear breadth of the world and also showed how things like weather will change which Pokémon are running around on the map, along with some of its social features. I'm still yet to catch up on the last Pokémon Direct that Nintendo put out, so this Treehouse event had me feeling a lot of childlike joy seeing Pokemon pop out in the grass and getting excited to catch Pokemon with my friends, just like in the Game Boy days, especially with its more modern features too. So this Treehouse event has me hyped up for its November release and to get to watching that Direct to learn even more about its fun-looking, nostalgia-filled new world. I love a good game drop during E3, so it was cool to see the remaster of The Lost Remnant get both announced and released for Switch during Square Enix's E3 conference. The Lost Remnant was a game I hadn't had a chance to look into yet, although I was curious about it when there was some buzz surrounding it when it was pulled from Steam last year. So to finally see some footage for it has made me even more interested in it, and so far I get kind of a Final Fantasy XII vibe from it, which does get me interested. I did find out while researching that this remaster was already released for PS4 in December last year, but regardless, another JRPG title on Switch is always good, and at an affordable price of $19.99, it's one I wouldn't mind adding to my collection sometime soon if this version is good too. Disgaea's music always gets me interested in its games, and the announcement of Disgaea 4 Complete Plus is no different, as its quirky trailer revealed it's coming to Switch and PS4 in fall this year. This version of Disgaea 4 sounds like it'll be the definitive version, with it set to feature all the content ever in Disgaea 4, which includes extra characters and story. So with Disgaea being another game series I've been looking for an excuse to try, depending on when it's released this year, I'd love to try it in this updated and complete form in a series that always looks like it could be some good, silly, and tactical fun. Kingdom Hearts 3's upcoming DLC, Remind, received a trailer during E3, with the expansion also receiving a release window for this winter. The voiceless trailer showed a lot less Sora and more of its other main characters including Riku, Aqua, and more as playable Keyblade wielders, and also showed a lot of dialogue, albeit in text form from Organization 13 characters that looks like it'll add some conflict in the extra story this DLC promises. Everything is still pretty mysterious at this point in true Kingdom Hearts style, but since I had a lot of fun with Kingdom Hearts 3 and its gameplay, it would be fun to try out the other Keyblade wielders just to play with it more. So this trailer did give me at least a little excitement, but I do hope we see a voice trailer at some point as well. Well, these last three games I want to mention have already been announced and have had their own time to shine in other game conferences and presentations. They had some good trailers put out for them during E3 that made me want to touch on them a little, as they've helped keep my hype going for these titles. First was the release date trailer for Code Vein, which revealed its new release date of September 27th this year, basically a year later than its planned release date last year before it was delayed. And the cinematic trailer makes it look great for the extra time put into it. The combat, cutscenes, and art style look as eye-catching as ever, along with some of the big, cool-looking monsters that this trailer showed off. So with a lot of gameplay shown for Code Vein both at E3 through showcases and outside it through a bunch of gameplay videos, it looks like a good time to start getting hyped for Code Vein all over again. Next is Rune Factory 4 Special, which looks more and more adorable every time I see it. The new trailer showed some cute animations showing off some of the characters, and also a very active-looking farming system, and a world full of cute characters to befriend and vegetables to pick. So its trailer was a good reminder that this is something I'm looking forward to playing, and I hope it gets a more solid release date soon. Finally, Oninaki had a more cinematic trailer shown which detailed its story premise and showed off some gameplay, with the latter being the main thing that got me excited about this trailer. Its battle system looks a bit more action-based and fluid this time around compared to what I tried of Lost Sphere, and some of the attack options and animations look fun to use. So with its premise of spirits and sending off the dead, this trailer made Oninaki seem like the most enticing release I've seen from Tokyo RPG Factory so far. Unfortunately, its release date is rather close to another game I'm hyped for that talks about dead spirits, which is Crystar, but Oninaki still looks quite worthwhile to have me hoping that I can play it at some point. This problem with Oninaki and Crystar coming out close to each other reminds me of how much a lot of things from E3 are being released very close to one another, particularly in jam-packed months like September. So while I'm sure it'll be impossible to get to everything I've mentioned in this video, I'm still glad that E3 has given JRPG fans and all gamers a lot to look forward to. And with so many things to play on the horizon, this E3 has me excited for the rest of this fun-filled year of many great releases. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what your favorites were from E3 and what ones you plan to pick up. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, along with links to where you can pre-order all the games I mentioned in this video. And until next time, thank you, bye!